Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another rousing episode of Coffee and Torchlight, where I drink coffee. There's Torchlight gameplay, and I talk about the things in gaming and other entertainment news that happened this week that interests me. First and foremost, one of the things that I'm excited about and I've been following closely, but there's been very limited information until now, is the development of Mass Effect 4. As you may know if you watch my other videos, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. I've played through the trilogy probably 6 or 7 times or 8, I don't even know anymore. At least 6 or 7 times on the 360. I played it through on the PC. I'm slowly working through another run here and there on the PC, and I played through it on the PlayStation 3. And it's just a game series I love. The characters are fucking awesome. Shepard is a great character. You just in the second and the third game too. I mean, the combat in the second and third game was just perfect for that game or for that style. Uh, and I had my qualms about the ending of 3, but I didn't rage as hard as some people did. I didn't. I was just kind of upset because everything felt unresolved. And while still not perfect, I felt like the extended cut went a long way in trying to rectify the situation. But at any rate, Mass Effect 4, apparently somebody sent a tweet to somebody that works for BioWare asking how far along is the next Mass Effect. I've read some reports saying early stages development, some saying late stages development. The reply was too late for one, too early for the other, so I guess somewhere in the middle. So that's good. They're chugging along. There's been some teaser images released earlier in the year, and supposedly sometime this year we're supposed to get an update on the game, which I'm very much looking forward to. I know it's probably not going to be related to Shepard at all. I'm fine with that as long as it's in the same universe. I'd like to see some new species of aliens, but I'm cool with them bringing. I mean, I'd love to see the Turians come back. The Turians were badass. Of course, the Krogans, and the Gisari, and I don't really care for the Solarians, so I can take them or leave them. But it was a game series that I love, and I'm glad it's continuing. I hope they find a way to keep a continuity going where they don't pretend that the previous 3 games never happened. So we'll see how that goes. Also, I see apparently they're making another Injustice Gods Among Us game. Not sure how I feel about that. I didn't really play the first one. Not because I'm not interested in it, but just because I just actually never got around to playing it, honestly. That's the only reason. But it was briefly mentioned in a segment discussing the upcoming Arkham Knight game that's due out later this year, which I'm seriously pumped about that because I loved Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Arkham Origins I was kind of meh on, but the only thing that kind of gets me about this new Injustice game is if NetherRealm Studios, who was the studio that made the previous game, is working on it. That kind of bums me out because I was really hoping they were going to put out another Mortal Kombat first, because the last Mortal Kombat game they put out was that was the Mortal Kombat game I've been waiting for since Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I mean, I played Deadly Alliance and Deception, I think was the one with Onaga. I think that was what it was called. And they were meh, they were neat for what they were, but they were meh. Me and my friends, we pissed away some time playing them, but I mean they weren't like it wasn't the Mortal Kombat I remembered, And when this new one came out, it was just like yes, and I played a lot of it on the PlayStation 3 with friends and stuff like that, and it was. To me at the time, that was like that. It brought me back to the early '90s when, or maybe it was mid '90s now. I can't remember when the original Mortal Kombat came out. See, I'm getting old. I can't remember times anymore and time periods. But so I was kind of really hoping there was going to be a Mortal Kombat oh God, were they on 11 or whatever? Um, but you know, whatever. If they do Injustice, they do Injustice. But I'd rather see them do another Mortal Kombat. Also, you know, I've said before, like I'm not big into Call of Duty anymore. I played all the way up to Modern Warfare 3. I think, yeah, it was the last one I played. I played Black Ops. I can't remember which one came out before which because there's so many of them. But I haven't had a real deep interest in it because I kind of fell out of the competitive shooter multiplayer. It just wasn't my bag anymore after playing games like Borderlands and stuff like that for so long. I just got more into the competitive or the co-op. And you know, the Call of Duty doesn't have like a real fleshed out single player campaign to justify the expense. So usually if I got a gift card for Best Buy or whatever, then I'd pick it up when it went on sale or whatever. But they announced that Kevin Spacey is going to appear in the next game. And honestly, when I was browsing through the news stories on my phone and I scrolled through, I actually thought the screenshot of Kevin Spacey's character in the game was an actual photo of Kevin Spacey, but it was a screenshot. And I like Kevin Spacey. You know, he was in Seven, he was in K-Pax and American Beauty. I haven't seen House of Cards yet, which I'm sure some of you guys might be like, blasphemy! But, you know, I'm a fan of Kevin Spacey's work, so I may have to check this one out. Because now they got my curiosity up, but I think this exosuit thing, it might inevitably bring about some comparisons to other shooters that are out on the market now, but also in Sledgehammer's developing it too. So it's not it's not a Infinity Ward or a Treyarch game. So we'll see where that goes. And Sledgehammer is composed of I don't know if you guys know, but I think he's still there. I'd have to check. I can't remember if he is or isn't. I'm pretty sure he's still there because I don't remember seeing any news stories about him leaving. But Glenn Schofield is the head of the studio, I believe. Yeah, he's still there. But him and Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey formed Sledgehammer Games under Activision after they left Visceral Games from EA. And Visceral was responsible for the first Dead Space, and Dante's Inferno, I think, was the last game that Condrey and Schofield worked on. And I like, say what you will about Dante's Inferno, but I did like that game. Granted, it was very God of War, but it was a good game. I played through it, and I had my fun with it. And I absolutely loved the first Dead Space. I'm actually thinking about revisiting it and doing a playthrough of it on PC and uploading that, but I just haven't really got around to it yet. So that'll inevitably probably lead to playing through the trilogy, so we'll see what goes on there. No promises. But I am going to start uploading some stuff from a game I'm playing right now that I'm having some fun with. I do have a couple fail moments in this current playthrough that I'll be uploading pretty soon here. I don't know, I just had like some brain farts and couldn't figure out some puzzles. We'll see what happens. You guys will probably watch it and be like, dude, what a moron. But, you know, there's a big uproar now. Apparently, ZeniMax, owners of like Bethesda Softworks or software, and they bought id, or maybe. But John Carmack, when id was acquired, you know, he was, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but John Carmack worked there, and he was on board with the whole Oculus VR project. And I guess he wrote some code and things like that. And when he left to go work for Oculus VR, apparently now ZeniMax thinks that took the code with him. So they're suing for 2 billion, or no, that's how much Facebook bought the Oculus Rift for. No, they're suing to block the purchase because ZeniMax thinks that their technology may not be licensed, transferred, or sold without their approval. Whereas John Carmack is countering with, Oculus uses 0 lines of code that I wrote while under contract to ZeniMax. No work I have ever done has been patented. ZeniMax owns the code that I wrote, but they do not own virtual reality. So we'll see how that pans out. I think that might be a... I don't know how good that's going to turn out for ZeniMax, but we'll see how that develops. Apparently, too, Andy Serkis is involved in Star Wars Episode 7, which, that's cool. I like Andy Serkis. He was King Bohan in Heavenly Sword. He was Monkey in Enslaved. Both very good games. I've played 3 Ninja Theory games. I played Heavenly Sword, I played Enslaved, and I played DMC. And I liked all 3. And I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding DMC. And the truth be told, I wasn't a huge fan of the direction they were taking at first when it was announced. I was pissed and I hated the trailer and I wasn't going to buy it. And then it started looking better and better. And I got the game and I really enjoyed DMC. It wasn't perfect. And I do hope for a Devil May Cry 5 proper, where they ditch the Nero angle, stick with Dante, give Lady some real fucking clothes instead of that god-awful thing she was wearing in DMC 4. And actually, if they're gonna do, if they would do a Devil May Cry 5, if they really want to keep this whole like multi-character route, I'd like to see characters that are already established, because in Devil May Cry 4, personally, like, I think maybe they were dipping their toes in the water, but they didn't venture, like, they didn't really do anything different. Nero basically, outside of the Devilbringer, Nero basically played exactly the same as Dante did in the previous games. And, I mean, he had the white hair and everything, you know, and then they never explained his origins. But if they really want to make a Devil May Cry 5, and they want to stay with the multi-character approach, have one solid campaign for each character, and tell it from different angles. You know, kind of like Resident Evil 6. But instead of having like some character you've never met before, let us play as Dante. Let us play as Lady. Let us play as Trish. Then you have 3 very distinct, different gameplay styles. You know, Lady obviously is very acrobatic. She has her machine guns and her pistols and her Killing Ann rocket launcher, and she's human. You know, but she's not going to be as like powerful as Dante. Trish could be a little bit faster of the 3 because she's pretty acrobatic, and she fights with melee, at least in the anime, and the couple times she pops up in the games. You know, then she's got her lightning powers, and she uses dual pistols like Dante. So, I mean, there'd be a similarity there. And then you have Dante, who just plays like Dante's always played. But I really hope that Capcom pulls their head out of their ass and makes a real Devil May Cry 5, and hopefully a Resident Evil 6 that is better. And I liked Resident Evil 7. I liked Resident Evil 6. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I had fun with it. But they do need to freshen that series up a little bit. I don't think they need to reboot it, but they need to make a really rockin' ass fucking survival horror game. And Revelations was a step in the right direction, but they need to make one that's the full bore console experience and really do it right. But you know, that's neither here nor there. I don't really know what else is going on. Still waiting on that Machine Head album, still waiting on the Opeth album. Other than that, I don't know if you guys seen it, but I've seen the preview for Neighbors, and that looks like it's going to be stupid fun. I'm gonna have to go see that, probably by myself because I'm a loser. I think I'm gonna try to take my son to see The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I know there's some mixed things about that, but he's a big Spider-Man fan, so he don't give a fuck if it follows the comic books or not. He just likes seeing Spider-Man swinging around New York City, beating up some bad guys. So maybe we'll go see that on half off day. But oh, and speaking of Spider-Man, I guess Andrew Garfield was saying that when he's done with the movies, he'd like to see somebody, instead of continuing on with Peter Parker, rebooting it or something, bring in Miles Morales. And I'm not opposed to the idea. I think it'd be cool. But you got to keep in mind, the average cinema-going public that isn't the diehard comic book fan, they're not going to have any fucking clue who Miles Morales is. They think of Spider-Man, they think of Peter Parker. And you couldn't just throw him in there and try it out. I mean, people would be like, what? You'd have to introduce him slowly and then go from there. But I guess Avi Arad basically said no. They think that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and they're not going to probably get too adventurous with his character in the movie universe, I'm sure. It'd be interesting to see what happens if the movie rights ever revert from Sony back to Marvel, and see what kind of area they go in. But when Andrew Garfield's done, I don't think they need to reboot it. Just like I hope when they eventually make a full-blown Ben Affleck Batman movie, when he's not being in the Justice League or Batman versus Superman, I hope they don't rehash everything that's been done before. Like, or even if they make a Batman movie that doesn't have Affleck in it, like, you don't need to keep telling us over and over again that his parents died. That's why he became Batman and all that. We get it. We know. Start from, just do like the 1989 film. Just, he's already Batman and everything's cool and hunky-dory and he's fighting crime and kicking some ass and he's good at it. We don't need... I think essentially what they could probably do with Spider-Man is kind of like what they did with the 4 Batman movies before, where you had Michael Keaton in 2 of them, then you had Val Kilmer, and then George Clooney. I think Spider-Man's iconic enough that you don't have to reboot him every single time the actor playing him is done filming his trilogy or however many movies he's going to do. Just like when eventually Robert Downey Jr. decides that he can't be Tony Stark anymore. Like, I don't think they need to reboot the Iron Man franchise. Just pick a dude that can play Tony Stark and just continue on. They did it with Rhodey, for Christ's sakes. But, we'll see what happens. That's on down the road. And actually, if they make another Batman movie, I'd really, really like to see a Batman Beyond movie. And I know a couple of friends of mine, they would be beyond psyched for a Batman Beyond movie. Just give us Terry McGinnis, and hell, Michael Keaton might be old enough now. He could play Old Man Wayne in that. But I think that'd be pretty cool if they do another Batman movie. Give us Batman Beyond. Take it a step. Break the mold a little bit, shake it up. Don't give us the same Batman movie we're used to. But kind of went off the rails there towards the end there, not really discussing too many things that happened during the week as far as entertainment news goes, but I do that. I don't write a script or anything. I just kind of think and go with whatever pops in my head. But like always, guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Alright, have a good one, guys.